On this channel, Million Dollars Made Easy, we love to run numbers looking at the returns for the S&P 500 for the last 100 years. I just had somebody ask me to run some numbers. They asked me to run it for BTI, which is actually Vanguard's total stock market. I'm set up to run it for the VOO, which is Vanguard's uh, fund that tracks the S&P 500, because that's the numbers what we look at. So we're going to look at these numbers would do with the S&P 500 if it continues to do what's been doing for 100 years. Said he had a beginning balance of 303,000. 303,000. Again, everybody's numbers are going to be different. They're not your numbers. Go ahead and ask me in the comment section what numbers you want me to run for yourself. He said he can contribute $1,550 a month. Said he's 41 years old and he wants to know what it might grow to by the age 60 and 65. And as I've been saying in my videos, I'm really hesitant to run less than 20 years, but this is close to 20 years. The reason why is because you could have a down decade, which would really skew your results. If we can get to 25 or 35 years, that would be a lot better. But I'm going to run the numbers for this individual. Again, he's got 303,000 and he says he can contribute $1,550 a month. So let's see where he might be both in the 20 and the 25-year time frame. Okay, again, these are the numbers for the last 100 years. In 1924, given these numbers, after 20 years, he'd have 1.850 million. After 25 years, he'd have 3.203. There's the numbers right there, and we'll run it for every single year for the last 100 years. And if you look down this column, the absolute minimum you're going to see is 1,417,000. That happens to be, you guessed it, 1929, because 1929 was such a horrible string of down returns. And especially when you're starting out with 303,000 and after 4 years you're down to 161,000, then you get another knockdown here for these 3 years. So it just took a while for it to come back, and especially in a 20-year period, there just wasn't enough time for it to come back. These are actually the returns right here. If you look right here, the average return for that period was 4.54, but the 20-year period was 6.46. Now, if you could hang on for 30 years, that'd be 11.48% average return. And you can see the difference here between 20 years, 25, and 30. 30 years, $9 million. 20 years, $1.4 million. But that's 20 years. Again, this is the worst case scenario. The median would be 3.623. For the 25-year range, that comes out a little bit better. You can see right here, just that 5 years more than doubled from 1.4 million to 3.3 million. That's 1929, but this is for all years. So at 25 years, the minimum you're going to find is 3,197,000, which happens to be 1925, as you can see right here. But look how much it jumped from 20 years to 25, 1.8 to 3.1 just in a 5-year period. But anyway, the minimum you're going to find is there's that 3.197 million. The median in this column for a 25-year period is 5.23 million. You could have as much as 22 million. Again, there's such a wide range here because we just don't know what's happening in some of these shorter periods. In these 20 and 25-year periods, you could have a down decade like we're seeing this in the 1920s. You could have a decade like this right here. You could have a decade like the 2000s where you had 4 down years, 2 of them really huge drops, down 22 and especially down 37. You could have the 1970s where you're down 14 and down 26. Actually, the 1970s came out pretty good because you had such a good return, 14 up 18, up 37, up 23, and up 18. So really the 2 worst decades were 1930s and the 2000s. You had the 1980s and 1990s, which were awesome decades. Again, that's why I don't like to look at just 20 years because you could get one of these down decades in that 20-year period, and even the 25-year period is a little bit questionable. But he wanted me to run these numbers, so that's the numbers I'm running. For the 25-year period, you can see the 3.197. That's in the worst case scenario, but you can go down through here and see some really nice values: 10 million, 7 million, 9 million, 10 million. There's a lot of really good numbers in there, up to 22 million. So for a 20-year period, it's not quite as appealing, but man, a 25-year period, if you could hang in there with the amounts you've already got established and the amounts you're putting in, you'd be in really good shape after 25 years. I love to run numbers for people. Please try to keep it to at least 20 years, though. I'm getting more requests for 15 and 18 years, and I'm really hesitant to do those shorter terms because you might hit one of these down decades. But please consider by subscribing. Please ask in the comment section for me to run numbers for you. I will do that. Uh, as soon as I see them, as soon as I catch them, I would love to run numbers for you. So please subscribe. Please tell your friends about this channel. Please like the video. And thanks for watching.